So let's say that you want to get rid of a bad behavior, or maybe you're wanting to eat healthier, and that means changing your diet in certain ways. And whenever you do one of these things, one of the biggest challenges is the cravings that hit you. And these cravings can be very intense, they can be very strong. And when they hit, what happens? Well, your mind goes to this idea of finding relief. I want to have relief from these cravings because they're so intense and they're making me feel uncomfortable. And it's easy to just give in and say, you know what? I don't want to fight the craving. I don't want to deal with it. I'm just going to give in and do my old behavior and be done with it. But I wanted to introduce you to an idea called the desire curve. And awareness of how desire works and how this desire curve works is going to enable you to learn how to win this battle against your craving and your impulses and maybe your bad desires, whatever it may be for you. So stage one of this process is when the actual craving hits you. You don't always have that craving, but when it hits you, what do you experience? Well, initially you feel a little bit of discomfort, right? And it's not that big of a deal. You can deal with it. You're like, yeah, okay, I know this feeling. I've been here before. If it was only that easy and it only stopped right there, but it doesn't. And that's where we start running into problems. So let's look at stage two. At stage two, what happens? Well, the intensity of discomfort increases due to that craving. It's still sitting there and you're feeling it grow and grow and grow inside of you. And this irritation of this craving or this desire becomes consuming. And it can start affecting your thinking. You can think, how can I give in, or how do I deal with this? Or your emotions. You feel anxiety, maybe a little bit of stress because you're trying to fight this craving or this desire, and you can't seem to shake it. It's just there and it's hanging on and hanging on. And just when you think it can't get any worse, what happens? Stage three hits, and the craving, that desire that you have, becomes a raging fire inside of you. And you feel like if you don't give into it, what's going to happen? You're going to go insane. Your emotions are going to blow up. Your brain is going to blow up. So you just think, I've got to give in. So instead of fighting that desire and trying to put it off, what do? You just give in because you think it's the only path to getting relief from that craving and that desire. But here's the thing, it's not. And this is the beauty of the desire curve and understanding how it works. Because after you've gone through all of that craziness, stage four hits at some point. And that is that craving begins to dissipate. It begins to get weaker and smaller and less consuming. Now, this does happen. It may be hard to believe that it happens, but it does happen. And you'll know that it happens if you ever put off giving into that craving. Now, if you always give into your craving, you're never going to realize that this side of it actually exists, but it does. And that craving dissipates. And sometimes it usually takes about 15 to 20 minutes. But the key idea that I want you to walk away with right here is to win this battle against your desire, your craving, you've got to ride out the wave. You've got to wait until it dissipates. Now, I know what you're saying. You're saying, easier said than done, Derek. You can tell me that, but what can I do? What are some practical steps? Well, here are some ideas of things that you can do to help you ride out that wave. And the first thing that you can do is change your location. That means if you're in the living room, then go to the bedroom. If you're in the bedroom, go to the kitchen. If you're in the kitchen, go to the garage. Whatever it may be, disrupt that wave, that craving, that desire by just getting in a different environment. That can make a big difference. Another thing you can do is change what you're doing. If you're at the computer doing some work and that craving hits, then get up and make a little snack, or go check on the plants in your house, or pet the dog. Do something different than what you're doing right now. Also, what you can do is change how you're using your body. If you're sitting down, stand up. If you're standing up, sit down. If you're walking, then sit down or run, or if you're running, do something else. You get the idea. This is all about disrupting your state in the various ways that you possibly can. The next thing you can do is focus your mind. And it's important to realize that logical thinking, a reasoning thinking mind, is going to counteract that emotional drive, that emotional power that craving or that desire has on you. And so what you can do to engage your logical or thinking brain is to read something, Or you can get creative, draw if you like to draw, or think of a problem and try to solve it, or come up with a solution for something. It doesn't matter. Just be creative somehow. Plan something out. If you have a project, spend some time thinking about that project, the steps involved in putting it together. Focus your mind. That's the kryptonite to that strong emotional desire. Another great thing that you can do is just talk it out. Spend 1 to 2 minutes stating the benefits of winning. What feelings are you going to have by winning? How is it going to change your health if you win this? Talk it out. How's it going to change your relationships, making it better? What's it going to do to your ability to achieve success in what you want to do? What will your life look like in 6 months if you're able to defeat this craving, this desire, this bad habit? What's your life going to look like? What are all the positives that's going to come from this? And if you want to, do it under your breath so that other people can't hear you and don't think you're losing your mind. But preferably, what you want to do is say these things out loud. Talk it out about what you're going to do and how you're going to benefit from beating this craving and this desire. And the last thing that you can try is simply put it off for 5 minutes. 5 minutes, that's it. That means you commit to saying, you know what, I'm not going to give into this desire or this craving, no matter how intense it gets, for 5 minutes, and then stick to it. And to get the best results, what you can do is mix that strategy with some of the other ones that we've talked about. And what you're going to find is in just 5 minutes, those feelings are typically going to decrease, especially if you're using some of these other strategies that we've talked about. Now, as you learn this process and you're giving up this bad habit, this desire, this craving, you need to realize that it is going to get easier. Each time you win this battle and you get to that point where your craving rises to that intense level and then it dissipates, that intensity level, that point where it peaks is going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. Now, it may not ever go away completely, but it will get to the point where you can manage it and win the battle consistently by understanding how this desire curve works.